Hello. This will be a short video on the use of the genitive in modern Greek. Before I get to the use of it, let me very quickly show you how to um, to form it in the two situations where it's the easiest. Okay, the two easiest genitives. I'm talking about the formation now. Genitives in Greek are masculine nouns in as and is, and feminine nouns in a and e. And basically what happens here is the one takes the endings of the other. So just to explain this, so let's give some examples. So look here, o Tamias, you see the ending is as, yeah? Or o Yannis, that's a name, o Yannis. And then we'll have two feminine words, η Maria, η πηγή. So what basically happens is you see here that the masculine has an S and the feminine doesn't. In the genitive is the other way around. So it will become to Tamia without the S, to Yanni without the S. So just verify here that you understand it. It's the same, the ending is the same as the feminine. Whereas the feminine will have the same ending as the masculine in the nominative. Yeah. So nominative and genitive in these groups, in these two groups, exchange their endings. So it will become tis Marias and tis Pigis. Okay, but now I don't really care about this. I will be using examples from these two groups to avoid confusion with more difficult endings. Okay, this is not about the formation, however. Now I'm going to focus on the use. There are two main uses of the genitive in modern Greek. The first one is possession. So let's have a phrase here, the cat's foot. And we use the genitive to say the same thing in Greek. In general, when in English you have this or this word, yeah, the second one when it means possession, because it doesn't always, it's not always about possession of, but when it's a possessive, so when you have these two, well, the first one is not a word really, but these two little signs, let's say, in Greek you will use a genitive. Yeah. So some more examples. Let's say John's book, το βιβλίο του Γιάννη. Yeah. Okay. The natural thing, now notice this, is to change the order. Yeah. So in English the order would be John's book, but in Greek you put what is possessed, the book, first, and then the name of the possessor. Yeah, that's the usual order in Greek. Of course, you could change the order, but it would seem a bit unnatural. You would still be understood, but it would seem a bit unnatural. Okay. And that's it. I mean, the first one about possession, that's all you have to really understand here. When in English you have this or this, in Greek you normally should have the genitive. And the genitive goes after the item that is possessed. Now, the second case is the indirect object. The indirect object, just to explain it quickly, is, well, let's have a phrase with a direct object. I kick the ball, yeah, and that's it, yeah. It's an action that goes from me to the ball. However, in some situations, it's a bit more complicated than that. So, like, I give flowers to Mary. Now the flowers go from me to Mary. Yeah. So the action of giving really here involves two different people. Yeah, and now we would say that the object in this situation, what is given, is the direct object, and the person to which it is given is the indirect object. Yeah, so the person usually is the indirect object, whereas the item that is given is the direct object. And in this situation in Greek you have two options. One is to use accusative with a preposition se, so it would be se plus the accusative. Yeah, and the other option you have in Greek is to use the genitive. So here I have the phrase with the accusative. If I would say I give the book to Andrew, I can say in Greek δίνω το βιβλίο, that's a direct object, the item that is given, στον Andrea, using the accusative with the preposition se. Now, if you want, you can pause it here and think for a minute how it would be with a genitive. Yeah? So, it's not very difficult. I think it's like the same thing. Δίνω το βιβλίο. This part will stay exactly the same. Του Αντρέα instead of στον Αντρέα. Δίνω το βιβλίο του Αντρέα. And this means the same thing. Yeah. Now, I will now, what we can do is like, I will write for you some phrases. See if you can translate them from English to Greek. So, yeah. Okay. Let's say the paste code. Okay, so it's these four phrases. See if you can translate them. Okay, so let's see. If the problem here was the vocabulary, I can give it to you now. Priest would be papas, or papas, and the code would be to palto. See if the problem was the vocabulary, then see if you can do it now. So this would be to palto, to papa. Again, notice that by comparison to the English one, the order has been changed. Yeah? The second one would be το αμάξι or το αυτοκίνητο του γείτονα. Okay. Now I will say δίνω λουλούδια της γυναίκας μου. Notice here I don't say εγώ δίνω, yeah, because the pronoun is not necessary. Actually, the pronoun here would sound unnatural. Don't use the pronoun before the verb unless you know what you're doing. Δίνω φαγητό του σκύλου μου. And that's it.